Hello, this is Patricia from patriciafenty.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make a sugar starch recipe and how to use that starch to make this really pretty doily bowl. Now, I'm not going to show you how to crochet this doily. This is actually one that I rescued from the thrift store, but I'll show you how you can make these really pretty doily bowls. And you can use the sugar starch for all kinds of projects, so especially for these snowflakes, which I will have tutorials for, and I'll put a link for those in the description box below. So let's get started. Now, what you'll need for this project is a doily of some sort. And then you want a bowl that you can lay the doily over top of to shape into a bowl, and then you'll need a sugar starch solution, and I will show you how you can make this up. All right, so all you need to make the starch is 2 parts of white sugar to 1 part of water. So I have 2 cups or 500 mils of white sugar and 1 cup or 250 mils of water. And you just put that into a saucepan over medium-high heat and just stir it until it dissolves. And then you want to cook it until it comes to a rolling boil. So here we are at a rolling boil. And so I've just turned the heat down a bit and I'm stirring it constantly. And once you have it to the rolling boil, then you want to continue to let it cook for about a minute or so. And I'll just show you here what you want to get to is where the bubbles are forming and they're kind of holding their shape, and that's the point where the starch is ready. So now you just want to turn off the heat, remove it from the heat, and let it cool really well, because you don't want to be putting your hands into this hot liquid. So just let that cool. Now, once your solution has cooled down completely, you can take your doily, and you want to make sure that you're placing the doily right side up. And the way that you can tell is that the wrong side, the stitches will be a little bit curly, and on the top side, they'll be more flat in their texture. So have your shaping bowl ready to go, and then all you do is dip your doily into the sugar solution, into the starch, and wring it out really well. And it helps to have your doily sort of pressed before you do this so that it is in a nice shape even before you start. And then you can lay the doily on top of the bowl, and it will stretch out a little bit here now that it's wet. And you want to shape this. I'm just going to move this out of the way here and bring this into the center. And so you're just going to lay the doily out and shape it around the bowl, flattening it out, making sure that it's nice and even. So you want to make sure this is centered on the bottom, and just sort of keep pressing it in. And then I'll just tip it up here a little bit so we can see a little better. There we go. So making sure it's laying nice and flat and even, and I'm bringing these shells down to the edge of the bowl so that it'll be a nice even shape. And this does stretch out a bit, so you want to make sure your bowl is a little bit bigger than your doily before you start. And so just keep shaping it like this and making it nice and even. And of course you can use any size doily you like, any size bowl that you like. And you could use like a big bowl and make the doily more shallow, for example. So you can do all kinds of things with this. So you can just keep fussing with this and getting it to lay nice and flat. There we go. And so all you do now is just let this dry, and probably let it dry overnight. So we'll see you when it's dry. Welcome back. So I've let this dry really well. I let it sit overnight, so not 24 hours, probably about 18 hours. So it's dried really well, and as it was drying, I was just sort of pushing these edges down just to make sure they weren't curling up in the other direction. So now the tricky thing is to get this off the bowl. So what you can do is just take a sharp knife, a very flat knife, and just slide it in between the bowl and the doily, and just work your way around, loosening it up, just doing, say, the top layer first, and then go around and go a little bit deeper. And so I'll work my way around like that. So here we go. I'm a little bit deeper into the bowl. Oh, there we go. That just popped off. And so there it is. I'll just put the bowl aside here. And oh my, look at that. Look how lovely that turned out. Oh my gosh, that turned out so beautifully. So, of course, you can make these with any doilies that you like. You could use it for fabric as well. And I think this is great to do with rescue doilies from the thrift store. And look how great that looks. So, if by chance you soil this, all you'd have to do is wash it out and re-starch it. And if you decided to turn it back into a doily, you could just wash it out and use it as a doily again. And that's the nice thing about using the sugar starch versus Mod Podge or glue. You know, this, you can just redo this if you need to. And with your sugar solution here, I'm going to keep mine in the fridge because I'm going to be doing some more projects. So I'll just store it in an airtight container in the fridge and warm it up in the microwave a little bit before I use it. And I would say you could easily keep it for a week in the fridge and just do a bunch of projects like that. Or you could make a less amount. I made quite a bit here. So there you go. That's how you use sugar starch to starch your doilies into beautiful shapes. And then, of course, I have the snowflakes as well that the sugar starch works so great for. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please give it a thumbs up. Don't mind my wounded thumb. And subscribe to my YouTube channel for more creative and inspiring videos. Thank you for joining me.